They are among the most formidable entities ever conceived in mythology, being so powerful that they could create and destroy the cosmos with mere thoughts. From the primordial void that birthed existence to the mighty ruler of Olympus, today we're counting down the top 12 most powerful beings in Greek mythology. Just want to say welcome to the world of stories. We are on a mission to tell the world's best stories, so if that intrigues you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. To start off at number 12, we have a pick that will probably be a shock to a lot of people for being so low. We have Zeus, the king of the Olympians. Zeus is the king of the gods, the ruler of Mount Olympus. And while he might be the most well-known Greek deity, and certainly the most powerful of the Olympian gods, he's actually the youngest and weakest being in this list. Zeus is the master of thunder and lightning, the ruler of the skies. When he was young, Zeus overthrew his father Kronos to become king of the gods with the help of his brothers and sisters. His power to shapeshift, control the weather, and command the heavens made him formidable. Zeus stayed in power until the end of time, and fathered the most famous and formidable gods and heroes in Greek mythology, including half of all of the gods of Olympus. These are Athena, Ares, Hephaestus, Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, and Dionysus, and even heroes like Hercules and Perseus are all children of Zeus. He was often implacable, but capable of good judgment and mercy. Zeus and his friend Prometheus created the humans together, making him the creator of all of mankind as well. Despite all of this, some of you are probably wondering why he is so low on this list, but the rest of the beings in this video are all older and more powerful than Zeus. Also, Zeus's power as a ruler is limited by the rule that no god can change the mandates of another god, meaning that although he is king, he allows all of the other gods to rule their realms in peace and doesn't interfere unless in dire circumstances. It is also true that Zeus defeated some of the beings in this list, but that was not because he was the most powerful in the world, but because he had the help of his brothers and sisters who supported him in those fights and accepted him as ruler. So yes, he is formidable, but he is also a king who's always mediating between the constant squabbles of his wife and children, not to mention that he fears and has been defeated by some beings in this list. So in terms of power, Zeus sits comfortably at number 12. Because at number 11, we have the father of Zeus, Kronos, the king of the Titans. Kronos is the god of time and the Titan king who ruled the cosmos during the Golden Age. With his formidable weapon, the adamantine sickle, he castrated his father Ouranos and gained control of the universe. His ability to manipulate time and his unmatched physical strength places him above most deities. Kronos devoured all of his children except Zeus, who eventually defeated his father after making him vomit his siblings and defeating him in the Titanomachy, a 10-year war between the new gods of Olympus and the old generation Titans. Kronos symbolizes time, the powerful force that destroys and devours everything in its path. Kronos was extremely powerful, but he ate his children after his father cursed him to be overthrown by his own children, which made Zeus overthrow him, meaning that Kronos was a victim to a force that is further down the list, fate. In some versions of the Greek myths, time is the first force ever born, even before chaos, making Kronos one of the most powerful forces ever. But most stories that we know of place him as a son of Gaia and Ouranos. And while time consumes and affects all mortals and everything bound to the earth, in Greek mythology, some of the beings in this list were unaffected by it because they were immortal and eternal. So Kronos is powerful and feared, but ultimately gets a spot at number 11. Now at number 10, we have Typhon, the ultimate monster. Typhon is the father of all monsters, and he is also the most powerful monster in Greek mythology. So massive that his head touched the stars, he had hundreds of serpentine heads and dragon wings, and he could challenge all of Olympus simultaneously. Typhon was born from the union of Gaia and Tartarus as a revenge against Zeus, after he had defeated the Titans and imprisoned him in Tartarus. In their battle, he ripped Zeus apart, cutting his tendons and leaving him helpless. Zeus managed to survive with the help of Hermes and Pan, who helped him recover, and later, with the help of his family of gods, he used his full power to trap Typhon beneath the earth in Mount Etna, a volcano in Sicily. Even in defeat, Typhon isn't dead. His rage erupts as volcanic activity. He is still feared as the greatest monster ever in Greek mythology, striking fear into the king of the gods himself. He is still undefeated and could fight all of Olympus at once. As a son of Gaia and Tartarus, he is also one of the oldest beings in the world, so he is truly a formidable force and the worthy number 10 pick. At number 9, we have the primordial god of the sky, Ouranos. Ouranos is the sky itself. He is one of the firstborn children of Gaia and encompassed the entire world, creating the boundary between the cosmos and chaos. His very essence was the heavens, and his power was immense. He was the first ever ruler of the cosmos, and fathered all of the Titans with Gaia, the Cyclopes, which are the makers of the greatest weapons in Greek mythology, and the Hecatoncheires, which are 100-handed grotesque fiends. He was so powerful that it took the combined efforts of Gaia and Kronos to overthrow him, and still he wasn't killed, fleeing underground, his anger seeping into it, giving his name to the most powerful and dangerous metal, uranium. Ouranos was the first ever ruler of the universe, and his might is undeniable. Like most primordial beings, he isn't really a god of the sky, but he is the sky itself, being massive, imposing, and nearly infinite in power, making him a worthy pick for number 9. At number 8, we have two beings in the same spot, the symbolics of light and day, Hemera and Aether. They are among the primordial forces, beings that embody the very fabric of the universe. Aether was the purest light of the heavens, and Hemera was the goddess of day. Their power was immense because without them, neither gods nor mortals could see, breathe, or even exist. Aether is the element that filled Olympus and the cosmos beyond it, the sky above the sky, existing far beyond Ouranos. He was the very air that the gods breathed. He was born from Nyx, night, and Erebus, darkness. Aether was their opposite, a force of illumination and divine light. He was an eternal, silent, but omnipresent force that separated the divine from the mortal. Hemera was day itself, the counterforce to her mother, Nyx, who was the night. Unlike the golden chariot of Helios, which merely carried the sun across the sky, Hemera was the very presence of daylight, an all-encompassing force that drove away the night. Where Nyx was feared, Hemera was her opposite, nourishing and essential. Without her, the world would remain cloaked in endless night. Every morning she pushed Nyx away, bringing light and motion back into the world. Even the gods respected her power because her presence dictated the cycle of existence. Aether and Hemera are among the most powerful forces in existence. Without them, the world would suffocate in darkness, an unbreathing void where neither mortal nor god could live in. They are the light that brings order from shadow, the very essence of existence. I have decided to include them together because they are usually mentioned together, and there seems to be very little difference in their strength. And while they may be magnificent, they are not, by far, the most powerful in this list. At number 7, we have Tartarus, the living abyss. Tartarus is one of the oldest beings in Greek mythology. He's a formless chasm that existed before the world itself. Tartarus sits at the very bottom of the cosmos, so far beneath the surface of the earth that even if a great bronze anvil were dropped from the heavens, it would take 9 days and nights to reach the ground, and then 9 more days and nights before it reached Tartarus. It was a prison, yes, but it was also a being, a god, of immeasurable depth from which none could return. Tartarus was one of the first entities to emerge from chaos. He sank low, consuming everything that dared to fall into its grasp. He was not simply a pit, he was a cosmic force, the embodiment of imprisonment and despair. Once inside Tartarus, you could never escape. Some of the most powerful beings in Greek mythology, like Kronos and Typhon, are imprisoned there in eternal torment. Tartarus is a devouring and uncontrollable force. Even Zeus did not dare enter Tartarus himself, but he used it to trap his enemies in his depths, locking them away behind impenetrable gates of adamantine, guarded by terrible monsters. Even the souls of mortals were sometimes condemned to Tartarus, but only those who had committed the greatest sins against the gods, like Sisyphus, condemned to roll his boulder uphill for eternity, and Tantalus, forever thirsty and starving, were among those who found their punishment in that terrible place. Tartarus is hell incarnate, and truly a powerful being. But at number 6, we have Gaia, the Earth. She is a Earth Mother herself. Born directly from chaos, she is one of the oldest beings in the cosmos. She created the mountains, the seas, the skies, and all physical matter. Her power to birth both gods and monsters, combined with her ability to sustain all life, makes her one of the most fundamental forces in existence. She is the great matriarch of almost all figures in Greek mythology, and her name is still spoken with reverence. In the beginning, she takes part in shaping the cosmos to a great degree, helping Kronos to overthrow Ouranos, then helping Zeus to overthrow Kronos, then creating Typhon and the giants to bring Zeus down. But after the defeat of the giants by Hercules and the Olympians, she assumes a passive role in the world, allowing her descendants to live their lives mostly in peace. Gaia is the mother of all life and matter, and truly one of the most powerful beings in Greek mythology. At number 5, we have Nyx and Erebus. Nyx, the night, in some versions is considered the second oldest being in existence. She is a goddess of unfathomable power. With her came Erebus, the primordial god of darkness, an all-encompassing force that swallowed all light. Together, they were the first shadows, twin rulers of an era before time had even began. Erebus is known as the god of darkness, but he was more of a primordial presence. He is the very essence of shadow, the void that covers everything in the cosmos and seeps into the remotest corners. He sees all and knows all, for he is everywhere and he is inescapable. But if Erebus is more of a passive force, then Nyx is its living will. She was night itself, and wherever she passed, the world trembled. She was the keeper of mysteries, the mother of dreams, prophecies, and hidden fates. Together with Erebus, she mothered some of the most dangerous beings in Greek mythology: doom, Moros, sleep or hypnos, death or thanatos, destiny, the Moirai, and retribution, nemesis. Even the very concept of deception, apathy, and discord, Ares, were born from her. Not to mention that they are also the parents of divine light, Aether, and day, Hemera, mentioned before. It was said that Zeus, the king of the gods, once sought to punish Hypnos, the god of sleep, but when Hypnos fled to the realm of his mother, Zeus stopped in his tracks, for he dared not anger Nyx. By day, she withdrew into the unseen realm, hiding beyond the edge of existence, but each evening as Hemera faded, Nyx rose once more, her cloak stretching across the sky, bringing silence, dreams, and the terror of the unknown. In the end, Nyx and Erebus are the primordial gods of the unknown and dangerous. They are the origin of the most powerful forces in the world: death, dreams, fate, and doom, forces that not even the gods could escape from. All existence fears them, and although Nyx is probably seen as more powerful, I have decided to put them both at number 5. Because at number 4 is Eros, love. Eros was the primordial god of love, procreation, and attraction. Without Eros, there would have been no union between earth and sky, no gods to rule, and no mortals to worship them. In Hesiod's Theogony, Eros is one of the very first beings to emerge, alongside Chaos and Gaia. His power was not in strength or battle, but in something far more insidious and absolute, the irresistible force of desire and creation. Even the mightiest gods could not resist his influence. Zeus, for example, was humiliated by the power of love and lust and attraction countless times. In many myths, Zeus falls for goddesses, for mortals, and often, against his better judgment, getting in all sorts of trouble for it. Even Erebus, Nyx, Gaia, Ouranos, and Tartarus, some of the most powerful beings in existence, could not resist his influence. In this way, though not a fighter, Eros holds a power that no one can match. He can bend the will of even the strongest of beings. Over time, the Greeks reimagined Eros as a son of Aphrodite, reducing him to a mischievous boy armed with arrows that inspire either love or hate. This is the later Roman Cupid, which is far weaker than the primordial Eros. But the oldest myths that exist describe Eros as a winged and gorgeous man who made all of those who saw him fall in love instantly. He was not a child, but an ancient, eternal force that existed before Olympus, before the Titans, and even before time itself. Eros is the very reason the cosmos isn't empty, because without him, no one would have been born. He is the spark that set existence in motion. Now in the top 3, we have the unbeatable and unfathomable forces of the Greeks. And to start us off, we have Moros, or Doom. Moros is the personification of doom and inevitability. His power transcended even fate itself, as he determined the inescapable end of all things. The gods and even the primordials were subject to his influence, making him one of the most feared beings in existence. Moros was a child of Nyx and Erebus, making him a brother to Death, Thanatos, and Sleep, Hypnos, amongst others. But he was by far the greatest and most powerful of his family, being in control of eternity and fate. In many Greek myths, gods and mortals tried to defy fate, only to find themselves ensnared by it. The Olympians, Titans, and even the primordials were powerless against Moros, for he is the bringer of inescapable doom to all, and no one can defy him. Moros, however, is not impulsive, cruel, malicious, or kind. He is simply what must happen. He is inevitable. And while chaos is the beginning of all things, Moros is the end of all things, which makes him perhaps the strongest power in the universe, except for 2. At number 2, we have Ananke, the primordial goddess of necessity. Ananke's power to dictate what must be was absolute, binding even the gods to their destinies. Without her consent, nothing in existence could change or happen. Ananke is said to have been there at the same time or even before chaos. And if chaos represents the potential for everything and disorder, Ananke is order itself, the polar opposite, and the reason things must take a certain form. If Eros binds things together, Ananke dictates that they were always meant to be bound. If Moros leads things to an end, Ananke ensures that they were always destined to follow that path. She is the very principle of fate itself, the force that makes fate inescapable. Given her status as the source of necessity and fate, Ananke might be the most powerful force in all of Greek mythology, except perhaps for only one. Because at number 1, there is chaos, the first, the infinite, and the origin of all things. Chaos is the primordial void from which all existence emerged, the very source of reality itself. Everything that exists, from the mightiest god to the smallest atom, came from chaos. Its power was absolute and infinite, making it unquestionably the most powerful entity in Greek mythology. Chaos isn't really a god or a being, nor is it really a void. It is the limitless, undefined expanse from which everything emerged, the very essence of potential, formless and boundless. In Hesiod's Theogony, chaos is the first thing to exist. From it, all primordial forces were born, shaping the universe into what it would one day become. Without chaos, there would be no Nyx, no Gaia, no Tartarus, no Eros, no cosmos at all. Since everything came from chaos, it is arguably the most fundamental and eternal force in existence. The Greeks believed that everything would always come back to chaos, in a great cycle. We have a word for it, entropy. No matter how hard we try to escape it, things go wrong, there's luck, there's chance, and chaos is inescapable, covering everything that we do. He is the most powerful force in the universe and the father of all reality. These were pretty hard to rank. I mean, I had to lose a lot of time thinking about which concept was stronger, like is Earth stronger than love, or is night stronger than doom, even though it's its mother. But needless to say, this is entirely made from me and my own personal opinion, so if you guys have probably a different one, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments and tell me which of your own top 12 you think should have made it, or which one are your own. Also, let me know which of these powerful things or beings fascinate you the most, and which ones you'd like us to cover next. So with that said, we are the World of Stories, and we are on a mission to tell the world's best stories, so if that interests you at all, please do not hesitate to drop a like and a follow, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Thank you.